Welcome, everybody, to the Strive Summit podcast. I'm your host, Alex Hanna, and with me today I have Maret from Argyle. Before we get into that, I want to say thank you to TopCon Solution Store, Brewing with Bim, and Jordan, David, and Joe for allowing me some space here at AU, which is awesome. Okay, Maret, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey, my name's Maret Thatcher. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Argyle.
Ooh.
Yeah, we do augmented reality. We bring building information models in and position them on the job site with high degree of accuracy.
Yeah, if anybody is anybody on LinkedIn, they've seen the posts
Thank you.
with the headsets and stuff. You make a big impact. So I'm excited to have you here today.
Thank you.
Where is Argyle out of? Where are you guys located?
Most of my company's based out of Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
We have a few everywhere, though.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So in Portland, do you get a lot of like cool experiences? Like, have you done this? No, that's Seattle. I don't know what's in Portland.
A lot of beer, a lot of coffee. Yeah.
Beer
Drugs,
and coffee.
fentanyl, if you're interested in that.
To each their own. To each their own. I think Oregon's decriminalized all that stuff. So sure, whatever you want.
Anyway, we love Portland. It's a great time, and I love having a team work together. Like, it just doesn't seem that many tech teams get to develop together, and that helps us a lot because a lot of what we're doing is looking at a building and interacting with it. So
yeah, I feel a lot of them are remote now.
Yeah.
They're like a lot of developers and stuff, so that's really awesome. It's
yeah,
great.
we love it.
So could you tell me your experience so far at AU, day one, halfway through, any exciting technology you've seen, or what you're doing with Argyle?
Yeah, I'm unfortunately been really stuck at my booth, or fortunately, we've been very busy. I love
Good.
that.
Awesome.
The most exciting technology I've seen, I always love the robots, love a printed robot, forever Stan. Love them. Outside of printed robots, mine is probably the next coolest technology. So Argyle, with the augmented reality.
Yep.
We have a couple of devices we're walking people through, and we finally got this thing out on iPad, so everybody can go to the App Store and download it and get the Revit sample project to play with. Yeah.
Yeah, you hear that? Download it, use it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Check it out.
So what are the stuff that you're, the different tools that you have at Argyle?
So Argyle is an app that is in three components. The exporting component, the cloud portal component, and the main show, the star, the belle of the ball, is the augmented reality app. The augmented reality app is designed for field workers, so we try to make it incredibly easy to use, super simple to align, and to stay aligned on a site walk. Inside of the app, you can turn on parameters like, I just want to see the mechanical and the plumbing right now. And you can also click on any element and see its metadata, which has been pretty fun and very handy. The portal's pretty basic. It connects users to their projects, and then the exporter is something that a lot of this group is really interested in. We have one for Navisworks and one for Revit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, two exporters. Don't get too excited here.
Yeah,
But
details.
So from those, you essentially just got your basic 3D views. You click those, they compress into very small models, and that is what we're actually looking at in the app. So that's why they're loading super fast.
That's awesome. So I got a chance to wear them. Could you explain the equipment that's put on your head? Because construction workers out there, they don't want to be a goof. They barely want to put a 360 camera on their helmet. So what do you guys use to see AR?
Sure. Yeah. So this comes up a bit. Nobody wants to look goofy on a site. The one we started with years ago was the HoloLens 2, and I think a lot of people are familiar with that device. Maybe it has the Trimble XR10 attachment. We work off of that one. Then we recently, I think the one you tried was called the Magic Leap 2. Magic Leap 2 is next generation. It's got super good optics, and I'm keeping an eye out on them because that is my favorite true glass AR. And then other than that, iPads. Now, everybody can hold an iPad on site without looking stupid.
That's very true, yep.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I like the glasses. I like the full immersive effect.
Me too.
I'm a big proponent of VR, XR, because I like to show a lot of people who don't know what this industry is what it's about. Like, this is what construction looks like now.
Yeah.
It's not nailers and stuff, which is still there. I mean, literally, Autodesk University is like a construction conference, but with a bunch of technology that people don't really know that's out there. And I love showing that to people because I remember showing students Polycam.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Polycam blows their mind.
I love Polycam.
I call it the gateway drug to BIM because
Yeah.
basically it's so easy if you have an iPhone, like you're scanning people's heads. Like I had students, they were scanning busts of people's heads and walking around the room. And I showed my buddy at one time, and he was staying in a hotel in Aruba or something. And he got some upgraded package like presidential suite. And he's like, no one's going to believe me, right? He goes, oh, Polycam.
There you go.
He scanned the whole suite so he can come back and show us what it looked like. And
Oh.
to me, I became a little boy. I was all excited about it because he used Polycam. Not that the suite was awesome. It was just like, that's so awesome. Like, he, not in construction, by the way.
Yeah.
Knows nothing about it. But he
Oh.
loved the fact that he could scan.
Love that. The world is becoming so much more visual. That is how, most of us naturally interact. So, yeah. These
Yeah.
tools have become intuitive, and it's just like interacting with 3D is so like, ooh.
So can anyone download the app and use it, or do you have to have some kind of a login or anything for that?
So yeah, it'll prompt you to log in, but you can register for free, and you have a couple sample projects that'll come with the demo.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I can go to these students and have them download it, and they can see
Totally.
Argyle. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's awesome too. So the quick access to the technology is massive. Just getting the word out. Everyone in this room or in this conference knows what BIM VDC is, but you ask anyone outside, they'll look at you like you're crazy.
No, they don't. They don't know what that is,
I tried to explain it to someone. I said, "You see that building over there? Like before it gets built, I built it."
and they're like, "No."
Yeah, yeah. I was like drafting, and they're like, "Oh yeah, okay, I know what that is."
And I'll have people like, "That sounds inefficient." I'm like,
Yeah.
"It's really not
Yeah.
inefficient. It is so much more efficient."
There is so many things that get done now before it gets done. I always talk about BIM VDC is an empty promise. You can talk to any contractor and tell them like, "I'm going to catch all your mistakes," right? But he doesn't know what his mistakes are yet, neither do we.
That's
so I always tell
true.
people it's an empty promise, but it does pay off in the end. There's been studies, so it's great. I love it. Very passionate about it, if you couldn't tell.
I gathered
Yeah.
some of that.
Yeah. So let's get into your journey.
Ooh.
I want to hear about your story about everyone. People know Argyle.
Okay, Maret. Oh my goodness. So I was born into a construction family. I was, we say construction kid. So what that meant for us is traveling to a lot of job sites where both of my parents were working, staying in hotels, probably, unsupervised for a lot of the day. But don't worry, it was the 80s, guys. It was
Yeah.
fine back then.
It was all good.
For me, that meant when we started renting construction equipment, that was in my backyard, and I played in it. And then when I grew up and graduated high school, what you did was you go into construction. And you can start your own company, or you can work for the family company, but whatever you do, you got to work. And if you're going to go to school, you're going to work. So I paid for school, for college and for law school on the construction site. I wasn't doing anything very sexy. It was like mostly flagging and traffic control, a few little grout projects here and there.
Ooh, grout, okay.
I know. But it got me into public works contracting. It taught me a lot about bidding and estimating and goodness, everything. From there, I was in law school, okay? Now, lawyers, they don't
Okay.
teach you how to do anything. They teach you how to argue. They teach you how to think. It's mostly brain damage. It teaches you how to think of everything in terms of litigation,
Yep.
which is what I was been very good at. So after I graduated law school, I took a case with another attorney doing construction non-payment, and in that case that I started at the beginning of my law career, they hadn't been paid for several years. They sued to get paid, and 9 years later, it had gone all the way up to the Oregon Supreme Court. They still hadn't been paid, and I was like, wow, this is a super inefficient way of helping contractors. So it was around this time I'm becoming pretty disillusioned with law practice. Like, again, lawyers are great and we love them and we need them, but it wasn't as fast-paced and as fast-moving as I needed. So around this time, I go to an architecture event, and there was Logan Smith showing off a building information model wall. And I could see through the walls of his architecture office, and I could see the conduit, and I could see the pipes, and I was like, where has this been? When was this when I was in 9 years of litigation? I hate, like, what? And I told him, like, this is it. This is it. And he said, this is a demo. I've made you a demo, and I am demoing it. This is an incredibly hard problem. Like, aligning just my wall to my wall was like months of work here. And I said, okay, fine. It's not it yet. But it couldn't get out of my head. So within a few months, I had wrapped up my law practice, and I started going in on virtual and augmented reality. A little more virtual at the time because that was more the thing. And Logan, meanwhile, sat there thinking, Logan, the guy who showed me the wall, gosh, there's got to be a way to make this scale because someday the construction contractors are going to need to see this on site in a massive way. So I have these like voice memos from him from 2017 of him thinking like, well, maybe what if we did a Wi-Fi triangulation? What if we did this? What if we did that? Long story short, he comes up with a type of visual positioning that we think is going to be robust enough for the job site. We consult with some patent. We get the lawyer in me. We consult with the patent people, and they're like, yeah, you got something here. So we end up patenting our technologies and then building them in. And then fast forward to 2022 is when we start getting our first real customers, and not just the people who'd been in development with us. It's been fun.
Is awesome. Okay, so there's a whole lot to unpack here. Okay.
Yeah.
First equipment rental. What was it, and what did you do?
Oh, wait. First, like the ones I played in as a child?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you know those traffic control barrels that are like they're called Type 3 traffic control barrels, and there's
yeah.
Okay, those are like cones, but they're big and they're fat. Yep. So we would make those into forts, and then there were these other barrels that were like impact attenuator barrels. And those you filled with sand. But when they weren't filled with sand, they were incredible forts. So that's what I played in mostly. Heavy equipment, we didn't keep that in the backyard as much. But I do recall sweet talking my way into driving a Caterpillar around one day on a job site. Again, it was the 90s.
Was it a big one?
It was like a little forklift. It was a little baby.
Come on.
It was really fun.
See, in my head, and now talking to you, I'm seeing you in a dozer in the backyard. Yeah, I see you playing in there. Yeah,
that's the next step, you guys. You see Maret with a dozer, you won't know when I've won the lottery, but there will be some signs.
She bought another dozer. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so then you go through high school.
Yes.
And you decide to go to law?
So, Legally Blonde had come out at that time. It captivated the hearts of many a young woman, and at the time, listen, construction for a young woman wasn't super great. And I think it's actually become a much better place than it has been.
Yes.
So I never really dug into my construction career in ways that I see people now doing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really have support. I was fairly stupid, like in terms of spatial perception, reading plans, like couldn't figure that crap out.
Okay.
So it's very funny now that I have this job where I'm taking
spatial.
I am making plans spatial to heal myself, basically, because I couldn't progress very far. I wanted to become a lawyer because it was different. It wasn't in my industry, and I knew that construction, they've got claims, right? All the time. I didn't realize just how soul-sucking it could be. It's very slow.
I was going to add, because that's a weird transformation to go construction kid.
Yeah.
Lawyer, and I can see how that came.
Yeah.
But then you go lawyer to AR, VR.
Well, that part's the one that makes the most sense to me. It's like, I'd been thinking about what's next, right? Like, I knew I wasn't going to be a lawyer forever.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you take in, a lot of this stuff. We're going to automate the lawyers. A lot of lawyer automation going to happen here soon. It just captured my heart. I just couldn't stop thinking about it. It took over my brain, and now I do this.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was the... I'm assuming the aha moment for you was the wall.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was the wall.
Developing.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Let's get into that aha moment. At what point were you decided I'm going to close my law practice and I'm going to do this? That you was like, this is what I'm doing.
So we formed Argyle when we had a method of alignment that we knew could scale.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of ways of aligning don't scale very well because you got to print out a bunch of QR codes or post beacons or have a service provider.
Okay.
What we are doing, what we built was called Resilient Interdependent Spatial Alignment, or RISA, for you Star Trek nerds. That is the Pleasure Planet.
That's what it is?
You're making the Vulcan sign here.
I'm a Star Wars kid, sorry.
Wait, where are we talking?
RISA.
Oh, yes. So RISA was when I knew. So it was when we figured out a way of aligning a large building a large building information model to a large building, that we decided that this could be a company and should be a company. So that was when we started it. So that's design, right? But then
Right.
development is a whole other piece of it. So we designed it, and then we had to develop it. And then you can't just develop a piece of software that's a demo that you can show to one person. Apparently, you got to get people to have their own logins. So that took time.
Okay. So what was that? So what was that transition like? It's got to be difficult to close a law practice and open a VR AR company.
It wasn't. I think part of it was emotional. To think oh gosh, you went and did all this law school and you're gonna shut down your practice, and people are telling me I'm crazy, and why would you do that? But I knew I wanted a product. When I was working as a lawyer, I could sell my time hourly, and I wanted to build a product.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, it made a ton of sense to me. Once I got over the emotional fact of you're giving up an old career, and your old clients aren't really going to come over here. Then it was easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love hearing about people in the industry that have such a weird, I'll say weird,
Yeah,
it's a
right.
weird background
It
because
is.
it's not something that's directly related to it.
No.
The fact that, was it Legally Blonde that just got you into lawyering?
I wouldn't say it was. It wasn't that exactly. I mean, it's also growing up your whole life and being told, wow, you're a good arguer, you should be a lawyer. It's kind of,
heard that one.
It's a bit of, you heard that one too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it sunk in a little deeper over here.
Oh.
You were spared.
Oh, you were the child that argued everything.
Yeah.
So you got everything you ever wanted.
Oh, there you go. There you go. It wasn't just Legally Blonde. That's a good joke. But
Yeah, I know.
I'm a argumentative, book smart, kind of brainy bad bitch.
I would have never thought that.
No.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Folks, you heard it here. Merit's a lawyer. Was a lawyer.
Do not seek
Don't-
legal advice from me. Oh, goodness.
That's so great. I'm sorry. I love that. That's what the podcast is about.
That
here.
is what the podcast is about.
It's about who are you as a
Who
person.
the heck? What got you into this?
Yeah. Okay. So when was you were developing Argyle,
Mm-hmm.
right? And when was the first time you were actually able to see visually what you were trying to develop?
Early, very early. So but it came in little bits and spurts. So right now we're doing a full federated model on very large projects, up to a terminal, airport terminal size. At the time, the very first thing I saw was just steel structural embeds on one pour.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I saw the alignment happen. I saw what I needed to see in terms of the resilience and the persistence and how well it was sticking to its spot. But there was a lot of work after that to get bigger and bigger models to come in.
And you needed other lines that change different colors. I was part of a development at one point, and I got excited over little things.
Mm-hmm.
It was hey, now the things are organized in alphabetical order. That's
Oh
the.
my gosh.
Okay.
Yes. No,
See?
I'm with you.
It's
I have
amazing.
so many projects on my Argyle login. The day that we put in last in, first up, I was super excited.
What was that?
The last one I uploaded is the first one that comes up on the top.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
tiny little development trick that just blew my mind.
I'm currently waiting for that.
Yeah,
I have it
okay.
in order right now. I'm can you put the most experience at the top and the least at the bottom? And it's a simple thing, but it's just something that as a user or someone in the UI, they might realize, but developers are just no, there's the list. I don't know what else you want.
There is a whole list, and when I get to conferences like this, that list grows and grows and grows. I know you guys want integrations. I know you want ACC, everybody. It's coming. Markups are coming.
I believe it.
Yeah.
She'll-
So what
you'll
we do
argue.
best is alignment. If you got a big site, a big model, that's what we're going to do. You want an integration? Hey, let's talk.
I love
I can
that.
develop that for you.
That's awesome. I'm so excited you're here. Thanks again. I appreciate it. And honestly, it says something for like you talked about earlier, women in construction, women in BIM, right? The opportunities that you didn't have and the opportunities that are available today are changed so much.
Yeah.
Hearing just my wife was interested in it at one point. And I immediately knew 3 other people I can contact that were women in construction, be hey, my wife's interested. What should she do first? How she in contact? And it's great to know that there's a community out there and the industry is going to grow 3 times now.
It is.
Morgan Drivas.
Yeah, love her.
Morgan's awesome. I talked to her aside and I was hey, she was talking about classes for moms, stay-at-home moms. I'm
Amazing.
I'm that's the most perfect thing. If you ever
It
wanted to
is.
recruit a bunch of people real quick for BIM, stay-at-home moms is like the niche market.
That's
And
genius.
it never crossed my mind. I was like,
Genius.
they're all remote. Perfect. So I just like that kind of stuff you wouldn't have back in, 85,
Right.
95, 2005.
No,
right?
yeah, no,
This
even
is
that.
very recent. This is like, I always tell people drafting died in 2014, 2015, and then BIM VDC was this term that was used. And it's probably earlier than that, but I feel like that's a good date to say, this is when things changed a lot. But what were those years for Argyle? When did that start happening? When was the wall?
Oh my! What do you mean? What the wall?
The wall. You saw a presentation about a wall where you could see
The
things.
wall happened in 2016.
Oh, okay.
It was an election year. I remember it well.
Don't we all?
And it took about a year to shut down the practice and to start a new company. We weren't even Argyle. Bevel was our studio, and we did like virtual showrooms for Katera and like just like bunch of VR stuff, but nothing to scale. Nothing that was the product of my dreams, and it really all came back to that BIM alignment. That's the thing for us.
And you're out there getting it out there selling now, right?
Oh yeah, no, all the time, and we're doing onboardings that further emphasize how great women in construction is. Like, I'll go to projects where the interns will be hanging out, and it is like, I feel like I'm in, I don't know, an after-school special. It's like so wonderful. People are so supportive, and they're so funny.
Yeah.
They just make me howl laughing. So I love getting out on job sites now.
Yep.
It's been a really good time.
I love that. Thank you. I appreciate it. Honestly, your story is so good.
Oh.
Just the fact that you were a lawyer just sells it for me, because I would never have guessed. Knowing you for the 15 minutes I did before the podcast, I had no idea you were a lawyer.
Oh,
That's
I'm
awesome.
very glad that has been hidden from your view.
Well, now everyone knows. So, for people getting into construction now, or the VR AR space,
Yeah.
I'm talking to these college students, talking to high schoolers. What would you say to them about the space of construction today that might get them interested in it? Because, like, when you talk about people getting into construction, it's not the same thing, right? Talked about it earlier. It's not the same space anymore.
No, it's the space that if you want an office job where you're going to use forms all day, cool. But if you want to play with the robots and VR and AR and total stations, and that's construction. So construction has more toys to play with. You don't have to sit on, like, I do both jobs, right? So I am sitting at my desk half the time, and then I'm in the field half the time.
Right.
My back feels so much better on the days I'm out in the field. And there's a lot more interest and flexibility than I think there used to be. Now, I would say if you're going to get into anything, just follow your interests and become a specialty. Like, I don't think anybody needs an AR specialist. AR is just a broad tool that can be used for everything. But if you can narrow down, like, your niche, like, I work with pre-pour. So, like, things like that.
And pre-pour, how do I explain this? Construction pre-pour was never something separate. It was, you did concrete, right?
Okay.
But now there's all these things like pre-pour, prefabrication, fabrication, on-site alignment.
There you go.
And all these different terms that are made that grew into their own industries. BIM VDC alone is one thing, but then there's reality capture. There's AR, VR space. There's robots, robotics. There's development. That's still all construction. I love the fact that all that is out there, because it piques a lot of interest, but no one knows that that's what construction looks like anymore.
Yeah.
They think they're going to go into development and make software, but realize they're making a printer that goes on site, or they're making AR, VR lenses. It's awesome. It's total space, untapped potential, and the only people that know about it are here in the building.
It's only the hugest industry out there, other than, I think, one.
Yeah, but
it's very big.
But you can't ask anyone who's not in it what you do.
Well, here's the thing. I was thinking, you were saying all these acronyms, and I do want to think that we should encourage people to ask questions, because people don't care. Like, we'll answer questions. I think most people in this industry are really pretty friendly, and if you are new on a job site and you ask a lot of questions, they might tease you, but they will notice who's learning.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, if you're getting teased, you're in the
You're in the club.
good.
Like,
Yep,
that's
you're
what
in
you
it.
want.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to be, if you're picked
Just
on,
short of
you're good to
harassment.
go.
That's what you need.
Yeah, if you get harassment, that's when you got to get off. That's when they don't like it anymore. But yeah. No, I learned that one real quick too.
Ask questions. I didn't know anything. I mean, like, I came from law. And I think actually that was interesting, like because I was a lawyer, I could ask questions and nobody thought I was dumb, right? I was given some like pass that I didn't really earn, just because like I had some past education. So no. Ask all the questions you need.
You're a lawyer, so you got to pass.
Yeah, I got like a smart pass. I can ask dumb questions because they're like, oh well, at one time you had to pass the bar.
How do I get those? Get a smart pass for dumb questions.
Got to pass the bar.
Yeah. I'm out.
All right. Well.
Yeah. Awesome. Maret, thank you for coming on. I do appreciate it.
Thank you.
This was great.
I had a lot of fun, Alex.
Awesome. Yeah. If you guys listening, like, subscribe, follow, YouTube, whatever, LinkedIn. TopCon, thanks again for the booth.
Thank you.
Maret, thanks again for showing up. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks.